What's up guys, C2113 here, and in today's video we're going to be taking a look at the Crowview Note, a really cool device that packs a full-size keyboard, trackpad, and 1080p IPS display into a laptop-sized package that's going to give you direct access to your mini PC or server PC without needing a permanent monitor, keyboard, and mouse setup. Alright guys, so this is the Crowview Note, and it's a 14-inch portable monitor with keyboard. That's not just a description, that's literally what the product's called. Now, I figured you guys didn't need to see another unboxing video, so I've already taken it out of the box, but I'll just go over briefly what all it comes with. There's not a whole lot. There's a USB-C to USB-C cable, a USB-A to USB-A cable, and I think that's mini or it could be micro HDMI to full-size HDMI. It also comes with an instruction manual and your AC charger, because this does in fact charge via a barrel plug. Now, as always, if you want to check this thing out, you know the link is going to be in the description below. But let's go ahead and get into it. Now, this thing has a 1080p display. It's an IPS panel. It has a full-size keyboard, and it has a decently sized trackpad. Now, this trackpad isn't glass or anything fancy. It's plastic, obviously, and it's a diving board style, so it's not a click anywhere kind of trackpad. But it does also work with left and right click functionality if you click on those areas. Although it may look like it, it doesn't actually have a camera in that top part there. These are all just little rubber pads. I'm assuming there's probably Phillips screws or some type of screw beneath those to hold the bezel on. And then you've got your indicator LEDs up here for low battery charging, all that stuff, and a microphone. So you do have a microphone. And just note that there is no backlight on the keyboard, so that could be a deal breaker for some use cases. If we look at the back side, it's pretty clean. Again, you've just got some Phillips screws that hold the back cover on. You have two speakers, so you have stereo speakers on here, and 4 rubber feet. This thing also has a built-in 5,000 milliamp hour battery. So that's going to give you plenty of runtime away from the wall, depending on what you're doing. So now that we have a basic idea of the overall construction of this thing, I'm going to briefly cover a couple of the use cases of why you might even want this, and then we'll go ahead and test it out and see how well it works. So why would you need something like this? Well, for me, it's something that would allow me to manage or use a mounted mini PC, depending on where I have it, without needing to set up a permanent monitor, keyboard, mouse, all that sort of thing. And so if I have a mini PC or a media PC that's running some sort of media server, like maybe a Plex server or something like that, 99% of the time, I'm not going to need to do anything with it. I don't need to access it. I don't need to be using it to browse the web, to open any applications, because it's just running in the background. However, if I need to go and do server maintenance, storage upgrades, or upload or transfer content to the server, I'm going to need a screen, a keyboard, and a mouse to do that. This allows me to quickly access that, plug it in, check all that stuff, unplug it, and leave the clean install without having to have a permanent monitor, keyboard, and mouse. Now, an additional use case that a lot of people have mentioned, both in reviews and just general comments online, that I didn't even think of until they mentioned it, but afterwards made a lot of sense, is for people that manage enterprise server infrastructure. Because if you're managing servers and you have to connect to each individual unit in a, let's say, a server room, you don't want to have to haul around a keyboard, a mouse, or a trackpad of some kind, or one of those little Bluetooth keyboard mouse things, and a monitor at the same time. This lets you have all of the controls, all of the I/O that you would need in a single device. And that's what makes this really great. It's all in a really neat package. It has a built-in battery, so you don't even need to bring your own power source for any of those accessories. This makes it real simple. All right, so let's go ahead and test this thing out. So what I have here is a GMK Tech mini PC. My plan for this is to set it up as a game server and keep it in a cabinet that has obviously plenty of airflow, but it'll keep it out of the way. And 99% of the time, I'm not going to need to hook it up to a monitor or keyboard, because it's just going to be running in the background. This is going to be great for being able to access that, check in on the server, do any needed maintenance or updates, and then unplug it, put everything away, and keep it really neat and clean. So let me go ahead and plug this PC in, and then I'll show you hooking this thing up. All right, so I've got the PC plugged in now. Now I'm gonna connect the HDMI cable to the HDMI output of the PC. I'm gonna then connect that to the HDMI input on the side of the Crowview. And then I'm gonna take our USB input, plug that into the side, and then hook that up to the front of the mini PC. I'm gonna go ahead and press this and power on the Crowview. And then I'm gonna go ahead and power on the mini PC. You'll see when the Crowview system powers on, you'll get a brief battery indicator. And now you can see the input from the mini PC is already showing up. And now the PC is on. I'm gonna go ahead and log in. All right, and you can see the system is fully booted up. Steam is powering on. Like I said, my goal for this mini PC is to set up a game server, so I'm still working on that. But as you can see, the mouse works great. You have right click, as you can see. And if we open, and of course, we can open things without any issues at all. If we test out the keyboard, it works. As you can see, no issues there. And the controls are pretty intuitive. You've got your brightness, your volume. Just so that we can test it out, I'll go ahead and play something so you can hear that speaker working too. I'll go ahead and play my last video, as you can see. Again, these speakers aren't going to win any awards, but they're more than adequate. I'll go ahead and turn the volume up a little bit. So to turn the volume up, by default, these buttons are already set to their functions. So you'd actually hold the function button to access the F keys. But you can see, I'll max out the volume. They're not the loudest speakers, but they're clear. They're not muddy, they're clear, and they're functional. So again, I wouldn't watch a movie on here, at least not without an external set of speakers, but for day-to-day use, for small tasks, this is more than adequate. For brightness, we'll take a look here. You can see, I'll go ahead and max out the screen brightness. The screen doesn't get the brightest, so I guess it could be brighter, but certainly for indoor use, this is more than good enough. Here, I'll go ahead and pause that video. If you want to check the battery, you can just push this button right there and you'll see the battery indicator shows up there. I would have liked to have seen an actual percentage, but there's enough bars in that battery indicator that can give you a pretty good idea where you are as far as charge. So for your on-screen controls, you just press F7, and as you can see, your display menu comes up, and then you can navigate using these two buttons right here. And then this button right here is your back. So it really is pretty straightforward. There's not a ton to this thing, and there's not a lot that you really have to worry about. It just works. And that's what I love about this. You know, it's not often that you find something made by one of these manufacturers that just works. There's often some sort of finicky thing where you've got firmware or it works off of Bluetooth or something like that. This thing is no nonsense. It just plugs in, it just works. In every other way, it's just a dumb monitor, a dumb keyboard, and a dumb trackpad. The only difference is they just happen to put them all together in a really clean package, as you can see here. So if you guys are looking for a way to monitor your server infrastructure, if you're working in the enterprise space, or if you're gonna do this for personal use for various media servers or mini PCs or that sort of thing, and you don't wanna have to have a permanent monitor setup, but you still wanna be able to plug in at a moment's notice and check in on that server's operation, this just might be the thing you're looking for. So as always, you can check this thing out in the link in the description. If you like the video, be sure to give me a like. If you have any questions, comments, or your own experiences with the Crowview Note, definitely leave that in the comments below. And as always, if you want to see more, don't forget to get subscribed.